Welcome to High Performance Recruiting. I am Trent Cotton, and today I want to talk to you about one of the 7 leadership styles for high performance recruiting teams that I discussed in my new book. Today, we want to talk about the leadership style I call the doctor. We also want to go over a performance matrix that I like to use that is the most helpful to help me understand when do I need to use which leadership style. And again, you can check this out in the book that is coming out in Amazon in fall of 2023. But let's jump in. What exactly is a leadership matrix? For me, it's a handy tool that allows me to evaluate situations and also evaluate the team and best understand which leadership style I need to make present at the moment. So if we start, let's look first at the y-axis. The y-axis is going to measure the team's health. Now, this could be defined as engagement, ideation levels, productivity, and efficiency. It's however you really want to determine your definition of the team's health. Then we want to measure on the x-axis low to high conflict. Now, conflict can take on a lot of different things. It can be the sheer volume of jobs you have. It could be the number of angry leaders that are breathing down your throat because the jobs aren't filled, or it could be market compression and competitive levers that are being pulled that are causing any kind of conflict or pressure or stress on your team. So now that we've got our matrix, you can see that we've got quadrants. So we've got low team health, low conflict, high team health, and so on. If I go in and I look at the 7 different leadership styles, each one of them corresponds to different situational factors. But today, we're going to focus on the doctor. Now, the doctor is needed whenever conflict is low and the team health is low. If we look at some of the characteristics of a doctor, it's going to remind you a lot of an actual doctor whenever you go into an appointment. Most doctors are very empathetic. They have a tendency to really try to seek to understand and feel what you're feeling, and the doctor leader does the same thing. They also have very strong questioning skills or diagnostic skills. This is a very important trait of the doctor. You want to be able to really go in and surmise exactly what are the root causes, not just the symptoms. And then finally, they're solutions oriented. And they want to be able to gather all the needed information and then be able to make the proper diagnosis. And the doctor leader really excels at this. It's almost a natural gift to them. They are very concerned about the low team health, and they're going to do everything that just comes natural to them to make sure that they understand what is causing this issue. So, one question I get asked is, why is the doctor in the quadrant with low conflict? I want you to imagine that you are working with an athlete who is preparing for a big match. You notice their health is a little bit lower than normal. Maybe they aren't as energetic or they don't seem as focused. They're a little bit more distracted, but something is up. Would you wait to try and diagnose and treat them whenever they're in the big match? No. You want to be preventative, and that's what the doctor leader does. In the heat of battle, they don't want to be trying to fix low team health, they want to get ahead of it. So, what are some of the symptoms of low health? Low engagement, lower performance, stagnate ideation. The team just doesn't seem to have energy. They're not solving problems in a very unique way. And of course, there's going to be decreased productivity. And also, this, of course, leads to inefficiencies. But what are some of the effects of low team health? There was a recent study that was done that measured over 150 different teams across different industries and different companies. And what they wanted to understand is the stress levels on the team. The very first statistic really jumped out at me that 62% of respondents experience high levels of stress, coupled with feelings of extreme fatigue or a sensation of being out of control. So that is a huge number of employees. So if you've got a 100-member team, 62 of them experience this high level of stress and are borderline despondent. The remaining third talk about, they have consistent stress, but it's at a manageable rate And then, of course, you have 5% that are not stressed. The impact on stress and productivity is pretty immense. 42% of the respondents said that they lose 15 to 30 minutes per day, 34% lose more than an hour per day, and then 24% feel like their productivity remains unaffected by stress. But if you think about it, the recruiters right now, I mean, it's a very, very tough role to do. They are constantly battled by hiring managers who are overly demanding, not very supportive. The market conditions, especially now with the candidates, they'll ghost you, and it's a very, very tough role. And that's why it's so important for you to understand whenever the team health is low, how do you really become a doctor? So here are some of the steps. The first one we've already covered, it's asking the right questions. You want to make sure that you are gathering enough data to really get down to the root of the problem and not just the symptom. So I like to use the 5 whys. You ask why, and then ask why again. And then usually by the time you get to the fifth, you're able to really understand what is called the root cause of the issue. I want to also encourage you not to immediately jump into what I call solution brain. Many leaders, they'll hear 1 or 2 symptoms and they go, oh, I've got exactly what is going on, and here's how we're going to fix it. That's not always the best case. Make sure that you're going through the proper process and taking the right time to really dig in and find out what the problem is. And then last but not least, make sure that you check in. So many leaders are good at steps 1 or 2, and then they just forget number 3. It's important, especially when team health is low, that you increase the number of check-ins. Do it impromptu. It could be a simple text or a chat. Hey, just checking in. How are you doing? One of the things I like to do is do a health check on team calls. How's everyone feeling? Physically, mentally, let's talk about it. And the important thing is that as a leader and as the doctor leader, you would create this psychological safety on your team that they feel that they can be themselves and authentic and allow you to be able to really see them for who they are. More importantly, if you're a leader, you can encourage this balance by acting the healthy way yourself. Setting a good example and taking breaks, making sure that you take your PTO, and whenever you take PTO, actually go on PTO. Don't be checking your phone, trying to check in. Actually go and disengage. Also, try to promote a culture of work-life balance or work-life integration. Be flexible in the working arrangements. Make sure that you understand all of the different wellness programs that are offered by your company, especially whenever you are running up against some pretty tough health issues or questions that your employees may have. You want to make sure that you can refer them to the right programs. And then most importantly, again, it comes down to psychological safety. You want to create a very supportive and understanding environment. So whenever the team health is low and the conflict is low, that's whenever it's time to pull in the doctor. Now, just as a reminder, there are 6 other leadership styles that are discussed. So again, you can find them and read all about them. Each one of them has their own chapter in the book. And then there's an entire chapter that goes over the leadership matrix in detail. So you can go and purchase the book on Amazon, or you can, of course, subscribe to this channel. I'll be putting out videos explaining all of them. You can also follow me on the blog sprintrecruiting.com. That's SPRINT recruiting.com. There is a section in there that would be dedicated to high performance recruiting. Thank you so much for watching, and please share this with someone you think may learn a little bit more about how to be a doctor leader.